Alright, welcome back to the channel. As you can probably tell from the title of the video, this is my 5k time trial where, fingers crossed, we will get sub 17. Put in the work, we've done everything we needed to do, so now it's just a case of getting it done. So I'm feeling confident. It's the evening now, and the reason it's the evening, I wanted to show you guys how much I prepare the night before an event to get ready for the event. I'm a big believer in if you plan properly, your plan will normally go correctly. Sometimes people just rock up to things and it works, but for me, I like to make sure everything's ready. So I'll have t-shirt or whatever I'm planning to wear on the floor laid out. I do need to get my socks that I'm going to wear and some other bits out, but that's the main bulk. So I'll also make sure, obviously because we're filming tomorrow, that I'll have things like batteries charged, GoPros charged, things like that. Another good thing I like to prepare the night before is hydration. So I'll get water bottles and everything sorted so they're ready for the morning. So I'll just put them in the fridge or have them laid out on hand. And yeah, just make sure everything's ready so I literally wake up in the morning and it's go time. Planning to start tomorrow around 7:30. So it'll be a 7:30 start. That'll be when we're leaving the house, so that'll be warm up, will be from 7:30. Trying to get going by about 8. It gives me half an hour to get a good warm up in. I'll do some bits at home as well just before, but it means I'm probably going to wake up around 6ish. I'll have about an hour and a half just to kind of chill out and get myself mentally ready for the run. I don't like just waking up, going straight out, just because I find that if I'm mentally ready, I'll probably do a lot better. So I'm just going to finish getting everything prepared and then I'm going to head to bed and I'll catch you in the morning for the run. Right, so it's the morning now, the morning of the race day. Like I said yesterday, today I'm just trying to treat it as close to a race as possible. Obviously with all the COVID stuff going on at the minute, we haven't had any races or anything, so I thought this time trial was a good opportunity to kind of treat it as if it was a race, so I'm still getting used to that feeling, still getting the pre-race nerves and that sort of stuff. This morning is all about hydration, so looking to try and get at least 800 millilitres in before we set off. I'm going to have a coffee as well just to wake me up a bit, but yeah, that's going to be the main goal, is just getting hydrated and making sure I feel ready for the race itself. As it's a 5k time trial, I'm going to do it fasted, so I'm not going to do it on any food. When I do a lot of races, I normally tend to have something in the morning, but I've been doing a lot of training fasted, so I just thought I may as well stick to the same thing and not change anything up too much. As it's quite early, I'm trying to be a bit quiet, so if you can't hear me or the audio is bad, I apologise for that. I think what I'm going to try to do now is just get myself psyched up, ready, and then I'm going to catch you guys probably after the run, just to see how I was feeling. Obviously I'll have footage of the run, so you guys will see that, but I'll have a big update come in afterwards. But yeah, I'll update you in a bit.
Turn up the headphones a little bit. Hey. ISO. Let's get it.
Whoa. Clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it. I'm today's trying to top it. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They tryna block all my blessings. They thought I lost for stepping. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm repping. Put on for the whole city. Yeah, I got them rocking with me. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm repping.
Sending emojis, I'm blowing a pack of that OG. Don't be acting like you know me, and if you did, that's the old me. Winter time, rock a cold fleece. Pocket fat, that's obese. Only talking money if it's increased. She give me brain, girl, no teeth. I touch down, bust down. She busted open for a real day. Stay Tommy'd up, trying to build it up, trying to count it up, hill figures. Don't be chillin' with no lil, no. And if I do, I be real with them. Chase a dream, that's the meal ticket. ISO gang, yeah, they still with us. I put it in motion, they got me steady. Thoughts on my mind, it's weighing heavy. Watch how I shine, tell them I'm ready. I'm hitting my stride, let's get to the Fetty. I was just sitting back watching them fold. Racks on me now, yeah, it's looking swole. I hold it down and I got my own. Keeping it grown, we back to the bone. Yeah, flying flashy, ayy, we too fancy, ayy, can't walk past me, ayy, right up your alley, wait, I gotta play it safe, watch me isolate, watch me isolate, ayy, watch me isolate, whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through, they wanna see what I'm about, yeah, I got
got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, extra, read about it. I'm today's trending topic. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They tryna block all my blessings. They thought I lost for stepping. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm repping. Put on for the whole city. Yeah, I got them rocking with me. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm repping.
Okay, so we've been home for a couple of hours now. I'm not sure what the footage looked like in the previous clip because we literally just duct taped the GoPro onto the back of the bike. I'm not sure how much of it picked me up. All I can say is I have done it. I've managed to get sub 17, so the goal we've had for pretty much the whole winter now has finally been achieved. The total time itself was 16:44. But what I'll do is a bit later on, I'm going to go upstairs and we'll sit down and I'll discuss all of it. So I'll show you my experience, show you a bit about my pacings, trying to break it down a little bit deeper. I've got some stuff to do now, but I'll catch you then and we'll go through the whole thing.
Bossing it! Yeah, we're bossing it! We're bossing it!
Okay, so it's a few days later now. I had some bits going on, so I wanted a decent amount of time to actually film this because I didn't want it to be rushed. What we're going to do now is just talk about the run itself, break it down a little bit more, go into a little bit more detail. One thing I thought it'd be cool to share with you is actually my medal. So this medal here, my mum actually gave this to me. It was a race I was supposed to do last year, and that was the race that I was looking to get my sub 17 in. That was kind of the whole plan for last year, was to get that sub 17 at that particular race. The race itself obviously didn't go to head due to COVID, but they sent the medals out and my mum actually took this off me and said I can't have this medal until I've broke 17 minutes. So it was quite a nice touch actually, finishing and actually getting a medal for it. Obviously it wasn't an official 5k run, it was, we chose the route and it was all done by watch and things like that. I do want to get a 5k PB on a timed event, so an actual road race or track event or something like that. But now I've kind of done the sub 17, I feel like it's definitely going to be doable. I should only really go up from here. But as you can see as well, my mum was pretty happy for me getting it. I think because she knows it's been on my mind for quite a while. It's kind of what I've had in my mind because we haven't had any races on. So I thought I'd give myself that goal and really push for it. The actual run felt pretty good. I felt like I found quite a nice pace early on and just got into a rhythm. I was averaging around 5:25 per mile, I think. Every time I looked at my watch, that's kind of what I was doing. It's interesting actually, when we look at Strava in a minute, you'll be able to see exactly each mile, but the second mile was very icy. So there was a lot of times where I was like dodging ice or going onto the grass where it was a little bit more grippier, because obviously I had my road shoes on and we were on the Redway, so yeah, that was interesting. It definitely slowed that second mile down. But again, it's not a massive deal because we've done it. We've gotten sub 16. It wasn't a massive hindrance because there wasn't loads of it. But it's still, little things like that kind of stick in your mind and make you think, okay, there must definitely be some more in this. So if we take a look at Strava now, I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. But as you can see, 5k PB, 16:44, 3.15 miles done. I think exactly 5k is 3.11 or 3.12 off the top of my head. I do a lot of my runs in miles, so I don't exactly know everything k wise. I just know the roughly amounts. I always try to just run over just so I hit the numbers. So 3.15 distance, 5:24 average pace, minute per mile. Again, moving time 17:03. Elevation gain 46. As you can see, it's very flat route we chose. Heart rate was 182, so I was working hard. There were some points I looked at my watch and it was like in the 90s, and it didn't really play too much on my mind in the moment because I was like, I can deal with this, but I was definitely thinking in my head, if this carries on, there's no way that I'm sticking this out for a long time. But then you just had to kind of fight through that. If we scroll down here, obviously as you can see, 5k 16:44. 2 miles PR as well, which is quite nice. Again, I think I can do 2 miles a bit quicker than that, but it's good to kind of have that PR, I guess. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting when we look at the split. So we'll view workout. Because I've done it in miles, we're going to talk about this in miles, not K. So as we can see here, first mile is slightly quicker than pace, 5:15. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling really good this mile as well. My coach Dave, who was on the bike, he said afterwards, like, you looked like you was cruising through them first couple of miles. It did feel quite nice. I kind of, like I said, got into a rhythm and then just kind of stick to that rhythm and settled quite nicely. But yeah, 5:15 for the first mile. Then here's the second mile, so that was 5:30. Some of this is definitely to do with some of the ice patches. But again, on that second mile, I backed off just slightly because I thought if I just back off this tiny bit now, in theory I should have a little bit more later. So that was kind of, in my head, I knew the second mile wasn't going to be the quickest. It was always going to be that kind of middle ground and then try to get quicker. But yeah, 5:30 for that second mile. And then the third mile, as you can see, is 5:25. Interesting on Strava because it doesn't quite, you can't quite see it, but we actually finished the last kind of portion of that second mile uphill as well. So I'm happy that it was under the 5:30s. I needed it to be under the 5:30s really to get 17 minutes. And then as you can see here as well, the 0.15, 51 seconds. Again, I ran slightly over, but just to make sure that I'd definitely done it, because I roughly knew 5k was 3.11 or 3.12, but I thought I'll just run to 3.15, and then I make sure that I've definitely done it. In terms of the run, that's the splits. If we actually scroll up and view analytics as well, we can kind of see it's elevation, obviously not much at all. Because it was on the redways, where the underpasses were, there were like a lot of curvatures, so there was a lot of times where you'd end up going downhill obviously, but then you'd be hit with an uphill. And in my training I've practiced for that because I've been running these routes with my intervals and things like that, so I was used to it. It was just a case of when you're trying to hit that top speed, then you hit them hills and they slow you down. I think some of them hills got me running at like 6-minute mile pace, and I'd see that on my watch and think, shit, I need to speed up now. So then I'd have to get my legs turning a little bit more. So if we scroll down a little bit more, just want to see, so cadence, average cadence was 170, max cadence was 182. Cadence is something that I'm trying to work on as well, because I've always had quite a small cadence. Like when I do slower runs, they can tend to be like 160. So I'd like to get it up to 180, but as I get quicker, the cadence is definitely a lot easier to hold. So here's interesting, heart rate. My maximum heart rate was 204, and my average heart rate was 182. So I was definitely in that kind of red zone, working up to that max heart rate level. Again, so if we scroll down and we look at the actual zones, I spent pretty much most of the run in that top zone, which shows that I was working hard. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the run and how I felt. If you would like me to do a more in-depth video about all my training and everything leading up to this, and then the whole thing, breaking it down really detailed, leave it in the comments below. Just say yes or something like that if that's what you'd like. If it's not something you're really interested in, then I won't bother. But if it's something you guys want to know how much work went in, but also every minute detail about the whole day and everything, we can do that. But for now, I'm just going to leave the video here. So with that being said, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed today's video, or you're happy that I broke 16 minutes, hit that like button, and I will catch you in the next one.
Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride.